Hi, today we're going to show you how to use MATLAB and interface it with an Arduino. I'm going to make a really basic, some kind of little hardware thing. I'll show you. First we're going to set up the hardware, then I'll show you how to install the software onto the Arduino and interface it with MATLAB and do all that. So we'll go ahead and get you started. I'll set up the camera here so you can see the hardware. Okay, here you can see we've got my Arduino, nothing hooked up to it yet, and I've got my prototype board, and I've got my two LEDs that will hook up, and a box of jumper wires here. Alright, so basically what we'll do is first hook up our Arduino to the prototype board. On the Arduino here, we've got various inputs and outputs. This whole side here is pretty much digital in and out, which means either on or off. The Arduino puts out a 5-volt signal when it's on and grounds it when it's off. Over here we have an analog input which can read various voltages. We're not going to be using that right now. And this connector here has the power sources that we can tap into. The first thing I'm going to do, and I always like to do this first, is hook up a ground and power to our prototype board here. I'm going to hook up the 5-volt to the positive rail on the prototype board, and then I'm going to hook up the ground to the negative rail. Now on these boards, these side ones, this positive runs all the way from top to bottom. So wherever you tap in here, that's going to be, those are all interconnected. Same with the grounds, the negatives, those are all tapped into each other. On the middle section here, these 5 pins right here are all tied together, these 5 are all tied together, and so on. And then same with this side over here is just a copy of this side. And that's kind of how that works. Alright, so we have our 5-volt. We're probably not even going to use the power, but I like to hook it up anyway. Our next step, I'm going to hook up the LEDs. On an LED, the long leg is your positive. So this one right here will be our positive lead. So what I will do is I'm going to go ahead and plug in the ground side of the LED into the ground rail, and the positive will go just into any of these rails. In this case it's going to number 30. I'm going to do the same thing with our green LED. The short leg goes into the ground, and the long leg goes into, let's make it rail 40. Okay. So now, on a LED you have to have a resistor, because if you don't have a resistor it's going to create a dead short, or it'll act like a dead short, and you'll burn up either your Arduino, your LED, or both. I've got 1000 ohm resistors. I don't know if you can see that. I'm tapping it into, and of course it won't focus. Let's see. There we go. Alright, see, it's one end of it is tapped into the same rail as the positive leg on the LED, and the other end I have going to a whole nother rail. I'm going to do the same with the red LED. Okay, so now all we have to do to make these LEDs illuminate is supply 5 volts to this rail right here and this rail up here, and that will make the LEDs come on. If you want to test it, we can. I'm going to go ahead and plug in my Arduino to my USB port. That powers it on. Now I'm not connecting to any of the inputs or outputs yet. All I'm going to do is connect this resistor, this rail where the resistor is, to the positive rail that we set up earlier. And it's not very bright. Is that 1,000? Oh. Alright, I grabbed the wrong resistor. Okay, here's a 1,000 ohm resistor. There we go. Now you can see the green LED lights up when this wire is connected to 5 volts. We'll test the red one also. Do the same thing, connect the rail up there to our 5 volt rail over here, and the red one illuminates. You see that? Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and kill the power on the Arduino again. Now what we need to do is decide. This thing won't focus. I don't know if you can see that, but there we go. We need to decide which digital pins will be our on and off that we'll be using. In this case, I'll just pick a couple. Let's do number 4 and number 8. Nice even numbers. And then I'm going to connect. So I'm going to connect number 4 to our green. LED. And then I'll connect number 8 to our red. Okay. And that's all we have to do to set up the hardware. Now whenever the Arduino turns ports 4 and 8 to 5 volts, the LEDs will come on. So next we have to set up our software, and I got to try to figure out how to record my monitor for that. So we'll see you in a second. Okay, so now hopefully this works and you can see my monitor. I'll find out in a minute. I'm going to do this as if I have from the very beginning, just in case you have not even started on this yet. Basically what we need, you have to have MATLAB of course to do this. I'll leave that up to you. To interface with Arduino, you got to have your Arduino software installed on your computer, and then you have to download a special package from MathWorks or MATLAB. So we're going to do a search for MATLAB Arduino. Our first link here comes up right here, and then we've got support package. Click that and download this. Alright, and that's open. So what we're going to do, we're going to move all this stuff into a folder where we can get to it easy. I'm going to put it under documents. I'll make a new folder. Arduino, I'll call it. And we'll paste those in there. Alright, so now remember where you put that. We can close our internet browser now. And the first thing we have to do is program the Arduino with the special MATLAB software, basically. So we're going to go to open. Once you're within the software there, we're going to go to Documents, Arduino, and then there we go. We're going to do the basic one, which is ADIO SRV. That was under PDE, then the ADIO SRV, and then hit that, and you'll see here, this is our code that we're going to upload right to our Arduino. So now with your Arduino plugged in, of course, we're going to, if I can remember how to do it, upload. And see if this works. Alright, so that's done. Now we don't need this anymore. We can go ahead and close this. Our Arduino has the MATLAB interface software in it. So next we're going to go ahead and jump over to MATLAB, and I'm going to pause it. Okay, so now we're back within the MATLAB. Our first step, we're going to do this with the with their built-in GUI editor. And actually, first thing I'm going to do is change our folder here to, how do I do this? Let's see. There we go. Arduino. Yeah, we'll set it here. We're going to go to that Arduino folder that I made earlier. Then we're going to put that over to the side. And we're going to click this little button in MATLAB for guide, which is the GUI editor within MATLAB. I'm going to hit create a new GUI default, and then that will open up a blank page here, and this will be our canvas which we're making our GUI on. Let's see, here we can add whatever we want. I'm just going to add a couple buttons. I'll add a button here, and I'll add another button here, and alright, that'll work for now. We'll just have 2 buttons. Now what we have to do is get into the editor for what these buttons do. Just double click on it. Oh wait, no, that's wrong. How do we get in there? Editor. Click the editor. I guess we'll have to save it. Tester. There we go. Alright, here is the code created for our specific GUI. It's got 2, let's see, here's our 2 buttons. Whenever you click one of those buttons, this function gets executed. Well, I'm sorry. If you push button 1, this function will get executed. Push button 2, that one will get executed. Now the first thing we have to do though is initialize our Arduino. And if I can remember how to do that. Okay, so we are within our script editor here. This function, opening FCN, this function executes when you first open your GUI. So what I'm going to do here, and again, I'm no expert on MATLAB, so I might be doing this completely wrong, but it works. We're going to create a global variable that will work throughout all the functions. I'm going to call it A, which will be for our Arduino variable. And then next thing I want to do is clear A, just in case it was still open from a previous usage. And then after that we're going to do A equals the Arduino script and whatever COM port your Arduino is currently set to. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to do a quick test here just to make sure all that works. You can see down here it's okay, so yeah, it did connect, and here's our 2 buttons. Right now they don't do anything. You can push them all you want and nothing happens. So, so we'll close that and clear this. So, our next step is going to be within our button pushing, or whatever. When we push button 1, first thing I'm going to show you how to do is I'm going to rename these. To get into this editor, you just double click on it, and then down here under the string is where you can rename it. Turn on, or no, we'll do this. I'm going to try it like this: red on, green off. So pushing that button, we're going to make the red LED turn on and the green LED turn off. Okay, so we'll save that. And this button will be the opposite: red off, green on. Alright, so that'll show you, that kind of tells you what our buttons are going to do. One will turn, this button will turn the red LED on and the green off, and vice versa. Alright, so now we're going to go back to our script, and under push button 1, which was the red on, green off, when you press that button, what we're going to do is set, let's see, I think I need to pull up global A again. Maybe. Okay, we're not going to do that. I don't think I need to declare it global again. I'm just going to do A. And what was our thing here? I'm going to pause it real quick and refresh my memory. Okay, I had to do a little refreshing on my memory here. So we've got the... I was playing around with that. Within MATLAB, you can click on the Arduino script, and it will show you all the different functions you can use within that script. The first thing we have to do is set the pin modes of our pins that we're going to be working with, which, if you recall from earlier, was pin 4 and 8. We're going to make those outputs because we're going to turn them on and off. We're not going to read anything from them. So I'm going to go back up to our opening function here, and we're going to do a.pin mode, and then it's your pin, comma, output, and a.pin mode 8, comma, output. And I'll do a quick test to see if that works. We're going to save it and run it. You can see it's attempting connection. And it looks like it worked. I didn't get any errors or anything, so we should be good. Alright, so we'll close that. Now at this point, we're going to go back down to our push button, and I'm going to try doing, again, our object that we're working with is called A. So we're going to look at our available functions again, and we've got digital read, digital write is the one that we're going to be using. So we're going to use a.digital write, and if I remember right, it's just the pin and then the value. 1 is going to be 5 volts, 0 will be ground. Now I'm looking at my, let's see, pin 4 is our green LED. So this is push button 1. Green should be off when this button is pushed. pin 4. So to turn this off, we're going to make this value 0. And then we're going to turn on pin 8. 8. We're going to turn on, so that'll be a 1. Okay. And then when you push button 2, we're going to have a dot digital write pin 4 is going to turn on, so that'll be a 1. And then a dot digital write pin 8 will go to 0. And okay, we'll see if that works. I'm going to save it and run it. And you'll see here it's connecting. And it doesn't work. I got some errors. So let's figure that out. Undefined variable A. Maybe I do need to make that global. Let's see. Alright, so let me close this. I'm going to try adding a global A. I just remember doing that in the past for some reason. So again, I'm no expert at MATLAB by any means, so I just kind of push through it until stuff works. Alright, we're going to save that again and run it. And I'm still getting an error. Error while evaluating UI control callback. Alright, well I'm going to pause this and figure out what's going on, and once I figure it out I'll get back with you and let you know. Okay, I figured out what the problem was here. It was a pretty stupid error on my part. On the opening function, I still have, I changed it back. I have A declared as a global variable, and then I cleared A, which was stupid because I just undid my global declaration there. And then, so that was causing an error. So what I need to do is just move the clear A above global A. There we go. And now I'm going to save it and run it. Okay, or not. Now what? What did I do wrong here? Oh, COM port 3. Okay, something clear all. You know what, on our script I'm going to make this clear all, and that will just clear any variables that might be open. Now let's try it. Okay, attempting connection. Alright. Well, you can't see it yet, but when I push the buttons, it's doing exactly like we wanted. The red turns. Oh, why didn't the name of the button stay? That's strange. They're working, but let's see what happened. Maybe I need to save this and run it from here. We'll try that. You can see it's loading. Ah, there we go. Red on, green off. Red off, green on. Alright, so let me switch back to camera mode. Okay, so now you can see again our screen, red on, green off, red off, green on. When I click those, you can see when I go back and forth, works just fine. So that is the very basics on how to set up a GUI with Arduino and MATLAB. So thanks for watching. I'll probably do more complex ones later, hopefully if you guys let me know, we'll go from there.